Welcome back to Copper Star Precision, the channel dedicated to getting you more points at your competitive shooting matches. We're going over the NRL22 Course of Fire for February 2023. It's got a Valentine's theme, and the fourth stage in the booklet is called A Moment Like This. I guess someone was a huge Kelly Clarkson fan. The stage description is as follows. There's a restriction on this stage that says no dialing, only parallax and magnification are allowed. On the start signal, the shooter will take a position on the bottom of the sawhorse and engage the targets with one shot each, far to near, large to small. The shooter will transition to the top of the sawhorse and repeat the sequence. All targets are hit to move on. So if you miss, your spotter should say re-engage. So if you're spotting and the person doesn't make an impact, say re-engage, the person knows what to do. Far to near, large to small. So basically we're going to the far target and there's no dialing. So when there's no dialing on a stage like this, what I usually recommend is that you dial before the stage starts. You dial for the more difficult targets. I'll put the target sizes up here. Most difficult targets are obviously the KYL rack. So I'm going to dial for 35 yards. For me, that's about down 2/10 of a mil, down 3/10 of a mil. And the far target at 98 yards, my dope for that when I plug it into my Kestrel is right about 2 mils. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dial down 0.2, 0.3, and then I'm going to hold over between the 2 and the 2.5 hash mark, because that will give me about 2.2, 2.25 mils. I'm going to bracket that target between the 2 hash mark and the 2.5 hash mark, because I only have half hash marks on my scope, and that's where I'm going to be. That's going to be my hold for the far target. Starting on the far target, we're going to hold. Hopefully we engage, impact that target, and then we're probably only going to change parallax and probably magnification. I like to be very zoomed in on the KYL targets, and you want to make sure that parallax is crisp. So when you start the stage, your parallax will be set for the far target, and then you're going to engage the next 4 targets. So dial your parallax back down and engage those targets. Hopefully you make the hits. If not, you'll be re-engaging a lot. This is the bonus stage. You get extra points, but a minuscule amount of points. It's not worth rushing the stage to try and get bonus points and end up missing shots. There's very little chance to be able to make up with the bonus time points a missed shot of 10 points. So that being said, it's pretty straightforward. Gear for this, I'll probably use a pump pillow in the back, rear support, any large bag will do, and probably a bag on the front, which will either go on the table or the sawhorse. Really any bag, 2 bags, 2 points of contact, always better. Don't think there's really a need for bipods on this stage. My a table, so I have a cinder block under here to simulate what's going to happen. So here I could use any bag. Here's an interesting way of doing it. I have this kind of this flat gray ops plate with the Armageddon gear bag. Some people call this a cheater bag, but I have it much more forward. What that allows me to do is kind of get more distance this way. So if it was right underneath the mag well, I'd be kind of cramped in here. So this is just another strategy you could do, and obviously it makes the gun very unbalanced and rear heavy. What that is going to do is it's going to sink into this bag a little bit better, and with 2 points of contact it's super stable. So timer goes beep, I get down like this. I'm already dialed for the far target. I'm sorry, dialed for the KYL, so I'm holding over the far target. My apology. Parallax is set for the far target. We find it, we engage. We're going to find the KYL. And because this is so stable here, and I can kind of just like leave it and it's balanced, I don't mind taking my left hand off of the bag. If you're not balanced, you can always use your right hand, reach over the scope, dial parallax. So we're going to dial parallax down to the 35 yards, and now we should be holding straight up because we dialed for the challenging targets, and we're going along that way. And hopefully we make all 4 hits. Bolt back to move. Rifle comes out, rifle goes up. And then here, it just gives me a little bit more room to play with. So given this height, maybe I'll take a seated position. And I can kind of fill this in back here. Feels pretty good. Again, here we're going to dial up parallax only. The far target, I'm holding in between the 2 and the 2.5. We engage. Find the KYL target. While I'm finding the target, I can be bringing the parallax down simultaneously. So I'm finding the target, I'm dialing down at the same time. Parallax is in focus, we found it. Control the breathing and engage 4 times right there. So relatively straightforward stage. The challenge here is that it's hit or miss, hit to move on, sorry. So that's stage 4 in a nutshell. Pretty straightforward. I like a bag in the front, bag in the rear, 2 points of contact. And essentially, because it's hit to move on, take your time on your shots. It's only 2 transitions, or 1 transition after you get in the first position, it's 2 positions. So you should be not pressed for time in terms of movement. So really focus on making your hits. And especially on the KYL rack, you're basically, all the targets are right in a row. And because these are 22 rimfire with very little recoil, there's not really going to be a lot of movement of the rifle. So after you engage a target, you should be right back, pointing at the KYL target. If you're not, there's something seriously wrong with your technique. So if you're finding that that's not the case, you're probably imparting too much force on the rifle one way or the other. You're jerking the trigger and it's pulling you off target. So it should be, engage, hopefully you hit the target, see it spin, and it's just a slight movement. So there's not a lot of target hunting. Once you hit the far target, all the other 4 targets are right in the same area on the KYL rack. So not a lot of movement there. Hope these tips and tricks helped as always. If they did, let me know in the comments. If you aren't subscribed to this channel, what are you doing? It's free. Go down there, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get all these updates. Lots of fun stuff coming down the pipe as well. And we'll finish out with the 5th stage in the next video, so stay tuned for that. And until I see you next time, as always, score more points.